The Romans thought no army could stop them. They believed the Nile's lands were theirs for the taking. They were wrong. One queen rose from the heart of Kush. Her name? Amanirenas, and she would change history forever. In the lands south of the Great Nile, there was a kingdom rich in gold, proud in tradition, and ruled by one of the bravest queens history almost forgot. Amanirenas, Queen of Kush, was not a monarch to bow before empires. While Rome expanded relentlessly, her people looked to her for protection, leadership, and hope. She was not just a queen. She was a symbol of courage. She was a symbol of intelligence. She was a symbol of a people's unyielding spirit. This is the story of a queen who defied the mightiest empire the world had ever seen. Rome's legions marched south, seeking to conquer Kush and claim its riches. The queen would not surrender. She rode through her kingdom, visiting towns, rallying soldiers, speaking to generals and citizens alike. Her voice carried strength, courage, and an unshakable will. The empire feared her not for her armies alone, but for the mind that led them. Every village she passed whispered her name. Mothers told their children of her bravery. Soldiers sharpened their weapons with renewed determination, inspired by the queen who would not yield. Amanirenas' reputation grew with every mile. She was not only a ruler, she was a legend in the making. Even the birds in the sky seemed to pause as her horse thundered across the plains. Her presence alone could ignite courage in the hearts of those who followed her. Under the scorching sun, Amanirenas positioned her army with precision. She knew the desert like no Roman could. Every hill, every river bend, every hidden path was part of her plan. While the Romans marched confidently, she observed, calculated, and prepared her people for a battle they would not just fight, but win. Her generals whispered in awe. Even her enemies would later speak of her brilliance. She spent hours walking among her soldiers, speaking words of encouragement, telling stories of past victories, reminding them of the rivers, the sands, and the ancestors who protected their land. Her speeches were long, yet every word held weight. Every gesture inspired loyalty. Every look filled the hearts of her people with courage. She was not only preparing an army, she was preparing a legacy. The day of battle arrived. Amanirenas' warriors clashed with the Roman legions. Spears met shields, arrows darkened the sky, and the desert shook with the thunder of horses and war cries. Yet in the chaos, Amanirenas stood like a lioness among her pride. She inspired her people with courage, striking fear into the hearts of her enemies. Tactics that seemed impossible worked, and the Romans were forced to retreat, shocked by the ferocity of a queen they had underestimated. Her bravery was unmatched. She fought alongside her soldiers, leading charges that would become stories told for centuries. Even in the chaos, her mind remained sharp, calculating movements, reading the enemy, predicting their strategy. Every step she took was deliberate. Every command she gave was a spark that lit the courage of her army. The battle raged for hours, but Amanirenas' resolve never faltered. She was the heartbeat of her people, the shield of her kingdom, the very force that shaped the course of history. Victory was hers, but Amanirenas knew the fight was not over. Rome would return, stronger and relentless. She met their envoys not with fear, but with strategy. Negotiations began, showcasing her wisdom and cunning. Through diplomacy as much as war, she protected her people, preserved her kingdom, and earned the respect of both friend and foe. She was not just a warrior, she was a ruler whose mind and heart were as sharp as any sword. She understood that war alone could not secure her kingdom's future. Amanirenas invested in the prosperity of her people. Towns thrived, trade flourished, and Kush's culture remained strong and unbroken. Her leadership was measured, balancing courage with foresight, bravery with intelligence, and strength with compassion. She became not only a queen of war, but a queen of hearts. A queen whose memory would endure long after the sands of the desert shifted. Amanirenas' story was almost lost to history, overshadowed by empires and generals who wrote their own narratives. Yet her legacy endures, a symbol of courage, intelligence, and defiance. She represents a truth too often ignored, that power, wisdom, and bravery know no gender. Through centuries, her story would inspire countless others, reminding the world that one queen could stand against the mightiest empire the world had ever seen. Imagine standing on the battlefield, the sun blazing, dust in your eyes, facing an army that the world believes cannot be defeated. And yet there she stood, Amanirenas, a queen who refused to bow, refused to flee, refused to let fear dictate her destiny. Her courage echoed across the sands, through the whispers of her people, and into the annals of history that dared to remember her. She was more than a queen. She was a legend, born to lead, born to fight, born to be remembered. Even when the battle ended, her story did not fade. The Romans carried tales of her bravery back to their empire. Historians wrote fragments, some praising her cunning, others warning of her power. Her people spoke her name with reverence and pride. Generations remembered the queen who stood against the greatest empire in the world, who led with both heart and mind, and who would never bow. Stories like Amanirenas are hidden across continents and centuries, forgotten warriors, queens, and rulers who dared to defy the world. This is history they hid, the untold stories that deserve to be remembered. And the next queen, the next legend, waits just beyond the horizon. If you want to discover more lost queens, hidden empires, and untold stories that shaped our world, subscribe now and join the journey. History they hid is only just beginning. Amanirenas' courage is a reminder that the past still has many secrets to reveal.
Subscribe and join us as AI brings lost history back to life.